Hello. It's Thursday morning. New York is still breathing to the rhythm of air conditioners and distant sirens when my phone lights up like strange eyes in the darkness. SEC launches formal investigation into Klein Labs. The notification is cold, like an ice cube in my throat. I'm sitting on the edge of my bed in a penthouse, where glass is another way to transport the sky, and the city below resembles a swarm of golden insects. She's not breathing next to me. Is Leah, my wife, asleep? No. She gets up, as if on cue, and takes the prepared suitcase from the closet. You knew this would come, Adam, she says, and I don't know if it's a statement or a sentence. I'm going to my mom's. For a while. For what? For the time that will be without lies. What am I accused of? I ask as if she's a lawyer, the media, God. That you became what you were most afraid of becoming, she replies, and clicks the door lock so softly that the sound enters me like a needle. The fifth call from Mark, the co-founder and godson of my success, no longer vibrating, pure metal in my ear. Don't answer the phone to journalists. Don't write on Slack. I do everything. I go out onto the terrace. The wind cuts like an auditor's report. On the screen are headlines, the faces of experts under rings of light. Arizona condemns, Connecticut counts. The market stretches its fingers in anticipation of a fall. I'm 39. I invented a chip that accelerates calculations for healthcare systems. I built this company out of iron mornings and naked nights. You're not a god. Something whispers inside me. You're a boy who's extremely afraid of the dark. The doorbell rings. The envelope is thick, white, with the coolness of a notary. I open it. Inside is a copy of the lawsuit from the state attorney general and a handwritten note without a signature. Check your memory. Unilever folder. The night the model disappeared. My heart takes a step into the void. Nobody knows about that night, I think. But someone does know, and writes to me. I sink down onto the cold stone of the terrace. The city hums like a beehive before a storm. My father's voice echoes in my head. Son, honesty is the right story, told at the right moment. I once believed that a moment was something you owned. Now the moment owned me. And when I look up, I already see in the mirrored glass not myself, but a person who will lose something important today, and I don't know what it is yet. The day unfolds like a movie with a broken film. A Zoom board of directors with cameras, eyes filled with legal sterility. Mark speaks for me. We, a foreign body. Lawyers whisper. Let's take a temporary resignation. It will reduce the risks. And the media has already broadcast our cracks live, multiplying them to heavenly proportions. They bring me a cup of coffee that smells of smoke from the past. The Unilever folder itches under my skin. I hide in my office, open an old encrypted folder. The creak of the password and the change logs for the forecast model for government procurement fall out on me. That very night 2 years ago, we rewrote the parameters to smooth out emissions, to leave the gray corridor of ethics and into the shining hall of winning a tender. We is, not me. The logs show the user M. Gray. Mark. But the signature has my name on it. The electronic signature he asked for speed. Do you remember that night? I write to him. I remember you saved the company, he replies. And now you can again. Just be quiet. I close my laptop as if I were closing the lid of a coffin. My mother is waiting for me in the visiting area. Her fingers are thin. The smell is lavender, the same as when we were kids, washing shirts in the kitchen together. Adam, I'm watching the news. You don't have to prove to them that you're good. You have to prove it to yourself. I nod, but inside I'm softening. On my way out, a camera catches me. Mr. Klein, is it true that you manipulated data to get government money? A voice asks, sharp as a scalpel. I find myself wanting to answer yes, no, maybe, it depends. But instead I repeat the PR office's prayer. We're working together. No comments yet. By evening, others have emerged. Former partners, a cousin I haven't seen in 7 years, each with a story about me as if from a distant comet. He always wanted to win. He betrayed me for a contract. He's an unbridled genius. The board of directors votes. Temporary suspension. My portrait in the lobby is covered with a gray cloth, like a mirror in a house of mourning. The depository freezes the block of shares, and the private bank where I was greeted like a king writes dryly, your credit limit has been revised. Leah doesn't answer. I walk down Broadway at night, and the lights in the storefronts hurt my eyes. I stop by the hospital, where our algorithms distribute ventilators, and catch a reflection. I am a person who wanted to speed up the good and press the wrong keys. The galaxy is not what it seems, something whispers between my ribs. And when the phone rings again, I already know that this is worse news than all the previous ones. Your father, my mother says, her voice breaking. He left a letter. For you. You lose your fortune, your reputation, and suddenly you lose something else, a landmark. I stand under the neon cross of the pharmacy, and for the first time in many years I can't see the way forward. My father's letter lies in a wooden box that always smells of wood chips and acrid glue. The smell of our garage where we built our first computer. Son, when business gets dark, don't look for the light. Look for the wiring diagram. Attached to the letter is the key to a safe in the Columbia University library, the same one where my father used to take me to lectures, as if it were a service. I go there early, when the marble is still cold and the hallways echo with footsteps like in a museum of conscience. In the locker is an old hard drive and an unmarked yellow envelope. On the drive is an archive, internal letters, log backups, old board minutes, and another file called Widow, CSV. I open it. A payment table for the Widows and Orphans Fund, our charitable project. But the amounts go further, through a chain of contractors to offshore companies, then backtracking to companies owned by Mark, and to the consultant in Washington who helped us with the regulators. This is not my scheme, but I am its face. You are not alone, says a voice from the shadows of the reading room. I turn. Lena Reyes, the investigative journalist I once publicly humiliated for her unverified sources and set the lawyers on her. She stands a little to the side, as if ready to back down, but her eyes are as straight as markers on a whiteboard. He leaked some of this to me years ago. Your father said that one day his son would understand the difference between success and victory. Why are you helping? I ask. Because the truth is a currency that does not depreciate. And because you were my enemy. And sometimes enemies hear each other the loudest. We sit over the files until dark. Lena shows me connections I didn't see because I didn't want to. How the Suppliers Association is a shell of Mark's network. How our foundation's donors are the same people who lobbied for tenders. How my signature has become a golden seal for other people's sins. I see the night 2 years ago as if it were now. Hurry, we're late. We need your key, Adam. We're going to lose everything. Losing it now. Did the congressional hearing invitation come? Lena asks. It came. They'll destroy you. Or you'll destroy yourself. And save something more. She hands me her recorder. This is forbidden knowledge, as you like to say in speeches, she smiles sourly. Your consultant's testimony. He repented in exchange for immunity. He calls Mark the architect. He says you're the key. At the end of the night, I leave the library with 2 things in my hands. My hard drive and a silence that no longer feels empty. I know that the picture of the world has turned upside down. I am not the center of the galaxy. I am a ship that will either turn on the beacon or pretend that the darkness is normal. The hearing room is like a cathedral, only instead of icons there are cameras, instead of candles there are spotlights. I sit down, put my hand on the book, feel the roughness of the cover. Swear to tell the truth. I swear. I am given the floor, and the hall becomes an acoustic for my breathing. In the front row sits my mother, hands clasped, eyes like a bridge. Leah has not come. Mark has come. His smile is as thin as a razor. Mr. Klein, did you know about the data manipulation? The congressman shoots, his voice a skilled pistol. I can say, no. I can say, I don't remember. I can blame everything on the modeling department, on force majeure, on the algorithm that did it so. Instead, I take a folder from under the table. I knew that the process had been changed. I justified it by the extraordinary nature of the time. I signed. It's my fault. But I wasn't the architect of the scheme. I can hear someone turn their head in the room. I unfold the cash flow diagrams, hand over the recorder, quote the witness, M. Gray, regulatory bypass. Mark laughs silently, his eyes 2 black hatches. Slander, he whispers. Then explain the correspondence. I say, and the consultant's face appears on the screen. The payment has gone. Adam signed. Tomorrow's the council. The hum of the cameras becomes a drainpipe. I speak not as a CEO, but as the son of the man who taught me how to solder. My father knew we were building a ship with gold in the holds and lies in the lifeboats. He left it to me to choose what was more important, to reach shore or not to lose my soul. You understand the consequences, right? The congresswoman says, her voice warming. You'll lose the company. The stock will fall. There will be lawsuits. I understand, I answer. And I add, not believing that there is such a sound in my throat. If the price of the truth is all I have, then I finally know its value. After the hearings, microphones surround me. Lena stands aside, looking small in this ocean of metal and light. You did it, she says. Now it will eat you up, or it will fire you, or maybe both. In the evening, the board of directors meets without me. The message comes briefly. You are fired. The contract is terminated with the loss of bonuses. Mark disappears from the radar. The bank freezes the accounts. A lawyer knocks on the door with a stack of lawsuits. I return to the empty penthouse, where the paintings look sideways, as if ashamed of me. I place the keys on the marble and feel something spill over me. Not blood, not fear, but some old light I haven't seen in a long time. All or nothing, the cries of my youth said. Today I chose all, but not what I was used to. Autumn enters the city like an old pianist into an empty hall, quietly, precisely, inevitably. I live in a rented apartment above a coffee shop in Brooklyn, where in the mornings it smells of croissants and in the evenings of other people's stories. There are dozens of lawsuits against me, but the prosecutor's office is lowering the level. Cooperation, compensation, no jail time. Mark is arrested in Miami to the trembling of palm trees and lenses. The market has forgotten my last name faster than I've learned how to make an omelet. Leah sends a short message. I'm glad you told the truth. Maybe we'll talk sometime. My mother brings warm apple pie in a box with a handwritten, I'm proud. I sit with her on the windowsill and listen to the city hum. But no longer like a court, but like a heart. I volunteer at a hospital where our algorithms once distributed machines. Instead of presentations, there are waiting rooms. Instead of billboards, there are lines. Sometimes they recognize me, and I see two possibilities in their eyes. You fell, and you got up. Lena comes in once a month, brings a newspaper and 2 coffees. Will you write a book about this? She asks. Maybe, I say, but let my inner story finish first. She laughs. No, my friend. Inner stories never end. I open a small foundation, a real one, transparent, with scary auditors and zero tolerance for brilliance. We finance laboratories in small towns where children think boldly but poorly. I speak to students. Success is loud. Conscience is quiet. Choice is music that only you can hear. And every time I see someone in the audience who looks at me the way I once looked at my father, with trust that is terrible to lose. Is it possible to be rich and honest? Perhaps so, but honesty does not guarantee wealth, any more than a helmet guarantees immortality. What is more important? Truth or success? In moments of silence, I understand. Truth is when you can sleep, and success is when you can stay awake and still smile. Can you redeem the past? No, but you can give the future a different currency. One evening, I take out my parents' letter and reread the last line, which for some reason I had not noticed before. Son, when your star goes out in the sky, it does not mean the end of navigation. Just start listening to the waves. I go out onto the roof, where Brooklyn smells of beer and linden, and look at the dim sky. Far away, beyond the windows, someone is laughing, someone is arguing, someone is loving, someone is lying, someone is repenting. I place my hand on the railing, cold and safe, and think, maybe wealth isn't something you can lose. Maybe true wealth is the ability to give. And this time I don't need cameras to believe me. I just listen to the waves, and they seem to be telling the truth.